Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you about a couple of things in this video. Number one, developments from Lebanon, the statement of the leader of the political bureau of Hamas, and what's happening with regards to Israel's withdrawal from certain parts in Gaza and why that is. I'm going to start off with Hizbullah. So, Hizbullah, with UAVs, they attacked an Israeli base near Tiberias. This is the furthest official attack from Hizbullah into Israeli territories, which is approximately 50 kilometers from the borders with Lebanon. Israeli media is criticizing the lack of action from the Israeli leadership, particularly Yoav Gallant. And why Yoav Gallant more than Benjamin Netanyahu? It's because Yoav Gallant is presumed to be the person who is leading the Israeli army in the north. You have Division 36 in the north, and Yoav Gallant is the person who is running it. Mostly he's the one who speaks a lot about Lebanon, the fact that we have a different war in Lebanon to the one in Gaza, and that if we had a ceasefire in Gaza, it wouldn't apply on Lebanon because Israel wants to deal with Lebanon in a separate manner. Israel didn't have an official response to this. We had talks from the media. However, it's the deepest attack into Israeli territories, and clearly Hezbollah is escalating. Now, this was most likely a response to the targeted assassinations that Israel carried out in Lebanon, because we also had 60 missiles launched on the northern air command base of Israel in Mount Meron. Usually Hezbollah target Mount Meron air command base as a retaliation. They firstly targeted as a massive retaliation when one of their senior figures in the Ridwan force was assassinated, and afterwards they attacked it after Israel targeted and assassinated several Hamas figures in the southern suburb of Beirut, Al-Dahiyya Al-Janubiyya, in particular Salih Al-Aruri and a couple of other Hamas figures. Second thing I want to talk to you about, Ismail Haniyya, he made a statement, and the main things that we understood from the statement is that Hamas is viewing this as a battle larger than what many people perceive it. Ismail Haniyya uses many terms such as this is the road to the liberation, to get freedom for Palestine, liberating all of Palestine, and Al-Aqsa and Jerusalem as well. Now, we have a lot of talk in the meantime about a two-state solution and proposals for an Arab force to go into Gaza. With regards to that, Hamas previously clarified that they're willing to accept a two-state solution as a temporary solution so long as they have full sovereignty. This is completely unrealistic when it comes to Israel. Obviously, Israel rejects any notion of an independent state on the 1967 borders in Gaza and the West Bank, and Benjamin Netanyahu constantly declares that they won't allow a Hamastan or a Fatahstan, as they call them, or a terror state in Gaza and the West Bank. He also highlighted that any talks about the day after will only be decided by Hamas and the Palestinian resistance movements. Anything to be decided after the war, because many people feel like they're entitled to talk about the day after in Gaza, not the day after Israel, not the day after the genocide state, not the day after the occupation, not the day after the supremacy, not the day after inequality and apartheid, the day after Gaza. The day after Gaza, the place that's been occupied for so long with over 73% of the population refugees. Israel made them refugees, and now over 2 million of them displaced internally as well. So these people are made to be refugees, twice suffering this barbaric and satanic genocide. Final thing that I want to talk to you about, I spoke to you about the level of attacks on Israeli forces in Gaza yesterday in multiple parts of Gaza, but Jabalia and Hayy al-Zaytun, they had particularly very heavy battles, and we also had obviously attacks from Lebanon. That same momentum was carried out today in bit of a lower intensity than yesterday. Yesterday was very, very significant, and we're starting to see the evidence of what's happening and the after effects, because Israel started withdrawing from Hayy al-Zaytun, that witnessed massive battles yesterday from the Palestinian resistance movement. 6 Palestinian resistance movements in total participated yesterday in the attacks against the Israeli forces, and you have much talk from Israeli soldiers. Haaretz published an article actually about Israeli soldiers saying that this war, this campaign in Jabalia is a Sisyphean campaign, pointless campaign. You keep going back and forth without anything, really, any achievement. Clearly they were pushed to these areas from the political class without having clear military objectives. Now you're talking about people who already fought in those areas, and they were told by the Prime Minister himself that the brigades of Hamas were dismantled based on fabricated evidence, really, and manipulation of the evidence that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu received. However, they are feeling demoralized, and they don't have any sort of will to fight, and they're criticizing the political and military leadership in Israel, particularly after the withdrawal from Hayy al-Zaytun in Gaza.